that. But we have to take some of this money, a big chunk of it, and return it to taxpayers and give taxpayers savings, particularly when you see inflation the way it's been over the last year and a half to 2 years. You know, 2 years ago, they said there wouldn't be inflation. I think 2 years ago, inflation was like 1.4%. And then what's happened since then, you've had massive spending binges by the federal government, trillions and trillions and trillions that have been printed. Of course you're going to end up seeing inflation. You have policy that is designed to make it more difficult to produce American energy. Of course that's going to contribute to inflation. Biden says we're going to need oil for 10 more years. Now, if you were a company that wanted to produce more and he says you got 10 years to go, it's not worth it to put any money into it at that point. But we all know you're going to need traditional energy much, much longer than that. And you look at the amount of wind and solar, I mean, it's still a very, very small amount. And I can tell you, when we had the hurricane come through in Southwest Florida, get the lights back on, we needed oil and gas to get the lights back on. That's just the reality. So, but that has contributed, his policy has contributed to inflation with energy. And he's tried to mitigate that by just depleting our strategic petroleum reserve. Hopefully there's not some major crisis where we'd have to tap into that, because he was not supposed to use it just to mitigate his own bad policies. That was not the purpose of that, but nevertheless he's depleted it. So you have all these different things that make the cost of living and cost of what you need to buy has gone through the roof in the last 2 years, more than any time I can remember in my lifetime. You probably got to go back to like the late 70s when you saw inflation at this level. So we need to do a lot to be able to give people relief from the inflation so they're able to make ends meet. We already enacted